don't have a mic. It's just via my platform. Yes. Doesn't matter. What to our last Saturdays? I saw we were sad. Community. I can't believe it. It's our last one. Wow, a year. Here we are. Today we just have a few short agenda items to give you an update on where we're at, doing activities, we want feedback on how the city, conducted this process, what we could improve, what you enjoyed, what we could get better at, and then we're here to kind of celebrate the end of this, and some snacks, we have little giveaways. Make sure there is a card for each of you, along with your little name tag, so make sure you take those. But I'm going to make sure that Council Pro Tem Meredith Stead has a few things to say as well. As I have your cute headshot, Meredith. So
right here. You don't need to show that. Hello. I can't wait to support the work. I know I speak for all of Council when I say this. I cannot wait to support the work that you all have done as it comes out of this committee and over to us. I'm sure you've heard this, maybe you haven't, but do you know there were over 200 applicants to serve in your position? I mean, incredible. And I think that shows that whether you work in this field professionally or you're just a resident who has a perspective, it's really important work that you were doing and really important here. And huge thanks for that. My own public service career, I guess at this point, started because I attended a tour of the watershed that the city has, and I couldn't believe the work that was being done with the water treatment processing. I mean, it was really amazing to me, and I felt like people should know. And at the time, I was the marketing director at Valley, Idaho, so I had no experience in that. But I applied to be on a commission, wanted to learn more about where I could be impactful or be helpful to my community and do good things. And one thing led to another and a couple of others, and now I'm on city council. So the world is run by the people who show up. And I think that the time that you've taken to be a part of this and share your opinions, whether that's professional or just as a resident of our city with shared values, is really important. And so thank you. And I've heard only little things about what has been done here, and I can't wait to hear more and support the work and see it passed through and adopted by the rest of our residents too. So thanks again, and I'll pass back to Lindsay.
I'm going to kick it over to Rachel to go through some of the updates that you guys are waiting for, and then an activity as well. Hello, everyone. I think at this point, hopefully, after this is the third time that I've met you, you know who I am, but I will just introduce myself one more time, even though this is the last meeting. I'm Rachel. I'm the City Hall fellow with the Harvard thing. But what you have to really know is my job is to be here for the next about 2 years to implement what this committee is asking for and what you're recommending to the community. That's like my 100% of what I'm trying to do. So this is the chance to tell me what you want me to know. Of course, there will be other chances. You have the email climate action at work. You'll hear from us again. So please stay in touch if you want to chat with me. But you can think about this session now as that. So I'll first catch you up on what we've been doing and what our plans are in the city. And then we'll chat a little bit more about the reflections and what it's been like to be part of this group. So an update on the web tool, which is the primary, which is the primary outcome that I've heard from this committee, is that we want some sort of interactive thing that will put all of the information that we might want to know about how to take climate action in one centralized location. So we're developing that tool where somebody will put their personal interest and demographic information, and based on that information, it will spit out an action plan for that individual. I spent all day coding logic for this and trying to get it to work, so we're getting there. and we're figuring out that logic and capability. This we hopefully will be launching by the end of January, and there will be a large marketing campaign shortly thereafter to get the word out about that. And we hope that you guys will be at the forefront of making sure that people in your community and your networks know that this is something that's cool and important and a great way to get involved. The marketing will look something like this. If you don't like clean water, so we'll launch in water, and this is an example. So if you don't like clean air, this is for you. Potentially, if you like sitting in traffic, this is for you. Things like that. So we're trying to make it like a no-brainer to participate in this, take climate action. That was a great action, yes. So do you love clean water, clean air, community pride? So do you join us? And these will be in the use all the tools in our toolbox to get this message out. We haven't figured out the details yet, but once we do, you'll be around. Anything to add with that?
No, I think, we're being very strategic on how we kind of spend our dollars. We don't just want to do a huge bang right in January, February. We want to make sure that each of the quarters has some love. So like transportation, we're considering bus routes and decals on the greenbelt saying like, you're being powered by, your feet, great job. And very kind of like that positive messaging that we heard from you guys. And then driving people to the web tool. So that's kind of the strategy that we're working through. And then kind of keeping it cheeky, like if you don't like clean water, this isn't for you. And kind of going back to like the values that I say we saw represented from the levy overwhelmingly passing through our city. Like this is what Boiseans care about. So trying to keep that messaging throughout this entire campaign as well. So that reaction made me very happy.
And then, as we discussed, this will go along with challenges like gamifications of different things to get other things. Challenges, and then also events and other programming that get people taking climate action or the education they would need to take climate action. So everyone here has hopefully seen the bingo cards that we gave out at the last two meetings. We had last week like a Kerbit award mixer. So that was for waste and consumption. And then that's an example of that's a small example of what we hope to expand on for future quarters and for the rest of moving forward. So next quarter, we'll be launching with water. We'll be doing a tree wrapping volunteer event. We'll be doing some children's art event. But because it's the winter, we'll be focusing on where our water comes from, which is snow. So it's a kind of unique opportunity to start to connect some of those dots about the importance of getting colder winters sometimes and having the snow and as much as we can. So we'll be doing a field trip for that. We'll have the Love at First Flush, which I believe is in its second year now. Is that right? Or something like it. At the watershed, and we'll be having Science on Tap again if you went to the last one. And we will be doing an incentive to get people to go to WaterWise classes and to ideally start to implement what they've learned in those WaterWise classes and support that implementation. That seems to be where the gap is. So as we were trying to do that to bridge that gap and incentivize people to actually go to the classes. That would be the challenge of gamification for next quarter as an example. So you kind of see where we're going with this, the web tool paired with these kinds of tools. And a marketing campaign is kind of our first go for this year. Okay, that's where we are right now. Yes, that's it. It's going to be up there. I think you can just go right to reflection. If you have any feedback for this, it can be incorporated into your reflection and into your worksheet, unless there's
any questions or comments before we kind of go into reflection.
Bubbling out.
Could you just give us an overview of where our project is right now, like what things built, what's looking like, how that's going?
Sure. So I think the marketing campaign is the first thing. Sorry, the web tool is the first thing. We're working on building that on something that a city of Boise resident could interact with and engage with. So we're building that. Does that answer that part?
Yes.
Okay. Then we're building this marketing campaign and not only what it says, but where it will go, how it will go, when it will go. who will see it, and how they'll see it. Just make it.
Yeah, so how we started this process is we took your feedback, we did a bunch of different climate actions that are pretty Boise specific. And then we took our logic questions like, oh, tell us about yourself. We melded them together and it turns out it created like 1,000 different climate action plans, which was not feasible for staff to do. So then we've had to start, this is kind of the logic to start paring down, okay, what are the questions that we're trying to get the answers to then create profiles. We'll think we'll have about 30-ish profiles. So basically, if you answer majority of these questions this way, you'll be put in this profile, which is more feasible for staff to then create like a beautiful PDF that someone can print and put on the fridge, like my individual climate action plan.
So it's something like rank your climate priorities, say water and building energy. And then it says, are you a student? Yes, no. Do you own a rent? Yes, no. Do you drive a car? Yes. No. And based on those answers, it will spit out, and that's what I mean by spent all day. Okay.
That's amazing. I didn't really realize that the portal, the entry portal, the into the tool would give you a profile that then could be customized to your printout.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and then we've talked about internally kind of taking folks along this campaign. So once you've given us your information and we know what your priorities are, okay, now we can follow up with an email in a month saying, how are you doing on your climate action plan? And have you thought about taking these next steps? Here's 5 other actions that you can take. And so it's not just one point of entry, but we're kind of taking you along this entire journey as your own self.
Yeah, like continuing the conversation with the person who's engaged with the site.
Yes, yeah,
So,
exactly.
And then, and those other action items that will also include meetings for information.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
topics
yeah.
And, yeah, okay.
So once we have the tool built, then the website, it will live on the website essentially, and then everything is complimentary on there, like check out this quarter's challenge, here's resources that you're seeking, just trying to take a few couple actions, and then other content will live on there. So kind of what the tool spit out then determines the rest of the content. If that makes sense. So trying to be very thoughtful, and we also want to be able to measure success. So who's taking these actions? And are they, how are we following up with like, tell us that you took these 5 actions and that was a behavior change. Because at the end of this, our goal was like, we want people to feel empowered, educated, informed. And number 2, behavior change, right? So what's the mechanism that we can follow up beyond like, if it's transportation month, we can track, how many folks are taking the bus, what's our greenbelt usage look like, et cetera. So using all the levers that we can to track success in this program.
It also seems like that would be a way to see which actions are very popular and
Yeah.
which ones maybe a little
Yeah,
more.
and then we can adjust exactly your point. So then we can be fluid of like, hey, we know people really care about this. We're really dropping on this, or can we adjust some of our tactics based on what we're hearing?
I didn't know our ideas were going to turn into a project this great. That was just what's in our top. These ideas, 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Now it's like, wow, okay, the ownership of it, build out, textual thinking. It's very inspiring. I really appreciate everyone's, effort. I think it's going to be amazing for our city, and will probably draw attention from other cities who will want to partner with us on these ideas.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're definitely, to implement this, we also learn from other cities, so we're part of this. Doesn't happen in a vacuum. With that, you started getting towards this. Let's do some reflection. So, hold on you. So there's a few different modes that you have here. I have worksheets for everyone if you prefer not to say it out loud, or if you think of something and you didn't have a chance to share it, we would love to take all of the feedback. So please write on the worksheets and then give them to me at the end. And there's going to be 3 levels. This is like what you gain on a personal level, what you want the city to know, and then more general takeaways. So for each round, I'll ask you to speak either to the table or with some of the neighbors next to you, and then go on to the next round, do the same thing, the next round, do the same thing, and then at the end, we'll share out, and then we'll have our little fun time. So the first one is personal reflection. There's 2 questions that are meant to be generative, but if there's anything else that comes up for you, you're welcome to discuss it. What moment in the process felt most meaningful or energizing, and what did you learn about Boise's climate work that surprised you? Go.
Probably 5 or 10 minutes. We'll do it.
Yeah, you created a community with us. And I, you know, can't tell you how much I enjoy all of you and just the perspectives and passion and how well this was organized was phenomenal. I didn't know what to expect, you know, being able to walk into this and have this shared vision with all of you and all different demographics and all different walks of life has been phenomenal. So thank you. Thank you, guys.
Takes it one step further with all that, the depth of the breadth and expansion of transparency, like it'll make an accident. Some meetings, right? How the hell did you get on this committee? You know, a little bit overwhelmed. Articulation and thoughtfulness, man, here. Oh, so.
Like the fact that we have wisdom in the room. Young, and that's what I think is our leaders in this group who are young and energetic, new ideas, new perspectives. Yet we have those of us that have a few years under our belt, bringing the wisdom and the experience. Great.
We're talking about what surprised us, and I think the recommendation we already had, and the amount of staff dedicated to climate activities and various classes, I was very surprised, and I do enough at the high levels based on newsletters and posts that are on the page, but I really enjoyed a lot of the conversations we had on educating us and getting the like 30 page PDF of data and taking it. And I think it's super fun and interesting to get educated. So yeah, very surprised with starting point that you all had.
On that vein, I want to say thank you to our staff. It was, you see, you know, I'm the one kind of mainly communicating with you guys, but you're communicating with a bunch of our other 14, our extended staff that's worked on it. We have Director Burgos, who has supported this project in the room as well from the beginning. Steve, who leads our climate action division. That's all the other departments that kind of support. You know, we truly believe at the city that everyone touches climate action, and we try to show up that way in the work that we do, and the way that we communicate it, and the work that we work with our residents, etc. So I'm glad you all feel that, and we work really hard with that.
I'd like to say too that, I really as well appreciate the expertise and planning. You know, I think our learning was really thoughtful and intentional, and I appreciate that. But I'm so glad that we're, now moving into this like broader community engagement because all of our real answers are going to be collected. And so, you know, the data, of course, is really important and people, you know, knowing a lot about, you know, narrow or not so narrow parts picture. All of that is critical, of course, but bringing everyone along is really gonna, I think it's gonna bring form, and I'm really glad to have been a part of that.
Anything else? This is your last moment before we move to fun stuff. Yeah.
I was just gonna emphasize the thing. Guys, and please have the breadth and comprehensiveness of what was already being done, but that also then sort of says that's a gap of getting the word out, because if a person like me, and I guess I wasn't the only one, was surprised at how much good stuff is already happening, and that says, you know, we need to get the word out, but hopefully that, you know, the marketing campaign, I mean, hopefully that is what we're about to address.
Anybody else?
I would suggest that we have an outreach to patients. It's nice to.
Or are you the president or something? Your name came up the other day. I was like, very recent. Okay. Good election. We did add, as a reminder, climate element to our NIP grants for this year. To align with climate, was kind of focused on transportation, but another element has been climate to align with this project. There's some serious dollars. The city council, of course, is the one that adopts $500,000 a year that goes towards community-led projects that the city community for our immigrants. So,
So there is a way to incorporate a climate-related project.
yeah, of course, obviously transportation, climate can be, all of these things are all interconnected. But if there's something super specific, community gardens, on that solar on the bus stations, there's been lots of discussions, but we want to make sure we have that in line with this project. Okay, well, if anybody has anything else to say, Director Burgos, stood up, you can have something to say.
To help myself.
I just want a couple of things, echoing Councilor Stead's comments, just thank you so much. We take this so seriously, the input that the citizens provide us. We do this on so many projects, but we start with the community. Certainly we have a perspective, but you all have a lot of the answers that we're looking for. So that it is so important to us that we hear from you first before we start going about finding all these solutions that we think are going to work. Now, a lot of them are right before us, and that's your feedback that you're providing. So thank you, thank you. I also want to recognize the staff. A lot of work goes into this behind the scenes. And one of the things that I love working in the city is because we don't half-ass anything. Honestly, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. I remember at the beginning of this project, it's like, we sure we're going to like, and the team they got so excited about the possibilities that we were going to take what you told us and it's literally you're going to see it on a computer screen, right? You're going to see your feedback and your thoughts, and we're going to capture those. That just doesn't naturally happen. It's the staff that makes that. And we are so lucky. We have amazing staff. So I want to thank them. Bree, I know Alex could be here. She's on vacation. Lindsay, Steve, Randy, Rachel. The team has just been awesome to watch what they've done. It's been awesome because I haven't had to get involved very much. And so I'm not doing a ton of work with it. I did. Because they were crushing it. And so we were just like, yeah, keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. So thank you so much to the staff because so much work went into this and very proud of it.
Okay, last couple things, please fill out, these are super meaningful to us as we kind of do these committees for different projects and just through this entire process. There's always room for improvement and do not feel like you can't say. What's next? Yeah, Rachel. We're just asking you, we might eventually launch a climate ambassador program more formally, but in the meantime, consider yourself climate ambassador of the city. You've been through training in some sense. You've heard from all aspects of what the city is doing. So tell your networks, tell your neighborhood, associations, whatever groups you're in. So think of yourself in that way, and in the same way, when we have programs, events, initiatives, even if you can't come yourself, feel free to share with your network, and you'll be in the loop. So please forward things as they come up. We will send you specifically updates about our progress. Need a lot of time. And then also follow us on social media, subscribe to the newsletter. Those will be some primary ways that we're getting in touch. So, yay, thanks, Climate. Where are we gonna do that? I will figure it out. Right here. So we'll move this out of the way, take a group photo. We have treats and snacks coming in for us to just catch up and mingle and enjoy each other. You all should have cards, names. Those are for you to take to keep your name tags. They're for you to keep. There's also 3 different water bottles or cups for you to take. Those are thank you with lots of stickers that are all again love stickers for the City of Boise and some City of Boise pins. So feel free to take a water bottle of your choosing. But of course, are useful. We hope you reuse it. And you'll be hearing from me in the next couple of weeks too as we get ready to launch. So thank you all for your guys' service and your work. Food will be out in about 9 minutes. We'll clear the table and then we'll get the photo and then we'll just celebrate and each other. So thanks.